Oh, hi, everybody. Look at this tweet from last year by Donald Trump. This was from September in 2024 in the closing weeks of the presidential election campaign. He said, as president, I will immediately end the migrant invasion of America. We will stop all migrant flights and all illegal entries, terminate the Kamala phone app for smuggling illegals, revoke deportation immunity, suspend refugee resettlement, and return Kamala's illegal migrants to their home countries, also known as remigration. I will save our cities and towns, etc. Remigration, it's a fairly new word to me. Trump has used it a few times. He's introducing it into the political lexicon. Here he is saying it a few weeks ago. It's a long post, so I'll just quote one sentence. Our federal government will continue to be focused on the remigration of aliens to the places from where they came and preventing the admission of anyone who undermines the domestic tranquility of the United States. So now he's putting the word in all capital letters, remigration, to send you back where you came from. He's been saying this in one way or another for a long time. I mean, here he is in 2015, before he even became the Republican candidate.
The executive order gets rescinded. One good thing
You'll rescind that one too?
One good thing
You'll rescind the Dream Act executive order.
You're going to have to.
DACA.
We have to make a whole new set of standards. And when people come in, they have to come in.
So you're going to split up families.
Chuck,
you're going to deport children.
Chuck, no. We're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep them
together
out.
But they have to go.
What if they have no place to go?
We will work with them. They have to go. Chuck, we either have a country or we don't have a country. Either we have a country or not.
How do you do it?
The cost of doing it. Look at the cost of what we have right now.
The cost of doing it.
Let me ask you this. Do you think
I understand that, but how do you do it?
Do you think there's tremendous cost for the illegals that are in here right now?
Of course there's cost to it.
Okay, tremendous. Do you think there's tremendous crime being committed by illegals?
Well, there's definitely evidence that it's happened.
Tremendous, far greater than what they do. And you see it all over just last night. All over. We will do it, and we will expedite it so people can come back in.
It's still not clear.
Chuck, it'll work out so well. You will be so happy. In 4 years, you're going to be interviewing me, and you're going to say, what a great job you've done.
So don't be surprised. He's been saying it for a decade. And just the other day, I saw that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in this news story by Axios, let me read the headline, State Department seeks to create Office of Remigration in Restructuring. That's amazing. That, I would imagine, would be about pushing foreign countries to take back their illegals. For example, something Pakistan refuses to do for criminal illegals from the UK. By the way, what exactly does remigration mean in terms of getting it going? Well, the first rule of holes is when you're in one, stop digging, right? And there's a huge and important accomplishment by Trump just to stop new border crossing. It's almost down to zero. The number of illegals just walking into the United States has fallen to close to zero. And they're not being released within America as Biden had done. Biden could have closed the border in a moment, but it was a deliberate decision and a deliberate strategy by the Democrats to bring in literally millions of illegals to turn the country against itself by laying the groundwork for simply importing millions of people who would become naturalized citizens and vote Democrat, not to mention the chaos they would cause in the meantime. And the big bucks involved with migrants, from free hotels to free lawyers and all down that food chain. So Trump turned off the tap, but what do you do with the millions in the U.S. already? Well, Trump has, he's nearly 6 months into his term. I checked, he is 11% done his second term, 11%. He has not deported 11% of illegals. That would have mean he would have deported 1 million people so far, and he has not done so. He's sent home thousands. He started with the worst, particularly gang members that were sent to El Salvador's supermax terrorist prison. But at his current rate, it just won't be done. He needs remigration. Some of that is by turning off the taps of free stuff. That's hard to do, of course, as so much free stuff comes from states and cities and private NGOs. By free stuff, I mean welfare and healthcare and food stamps, stuff like that. Still, of course, Trump can turn a lot of that off. He has levers. Look at how he's managed to convince wealthy universities to do the right thing simply by threatening to turn off their federal cash or taking them to court. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but the University of Pennsylvania just announced that it is going to apologize to every woman and girl that they have ever made compete against a man in a sport. And they're also going to strip all those men of their fake awards and give those awards to their proper female recipients. Complete abject apologies from University of Pennsylvania, and it's all because of money and Trump going to battle over it. They don't want to be punished legally and financially for breaking civil rights laws. Trump's team could use levers against cities and states that don't cooperate too. They're getting pretty creative. But again, kicking them out. You can do it through force, through immigration cops and raids and then deportations. That's what Trump has generally done. But what if you simply convince them to go, to self-deport? Now, you might think, who would ever do that? Why would you ever do that? Well, let me tell you one reason why it could and should be done. Here's a study from the Netherlands that helps set the context for how much is at stake money-wise and how much can be saved by not letting these folks in the first place, and how much could be saved by getting them to remigrate home. Look at this. Again, Dutch study published in the reputable Telegraph of London. The negative contribution is especially large for asylum seekers from Africa and the Middle East, say authors Jan van de Beek, Joep Hartog, and Gerrit Kreffer, and Hans Rodenberg. Sorry, I didn't give you a proper introduction. This is a Dutch study of the cost of immigrants being cited in the Telegraph of London. The burden on the taxpayer for each family migrant that comes to the Netherlands is 200,000 euros, according to their report. I mean, look at this. The authors write that Western migrants made a total contribution of 900 million euros to the Dutch economy in 2016. Migrants arriving from countries like the UK, US, and Japan are expected to contribute more to the Dutch economy than they take out. Okay, that's not too surprising because they're typically educated, they're culturally fit, they have language skills. In comparison, those arriving from non-Western countries received 18.2 billion euros in the same year. So those arriving from Sudan, Morocco, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria were said to have cost the Dutch taxpayer the most. Did you get that list of countries? Sudan, Morocco, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Well, that sounds like Canada's migration shopping list, doesn't it? We take in a lot of Somalis too, and Pakistanis. I quoted the study, which is in euros. Each euro is worth about $1.60 Canadian, so those are huge numbers. Those numbers suggest that each migrant family is more than 300,000 Canadian dollars in costs to Canada over their lifetime. Of course, they're not doctors and scientists. They're at most Uber drivers or low-skilled laborers or other temporary foreign workers, but they get all the good stuff for free. Free healthcare, free schooling, free everything, free housing even. So if you know that each migrant from the third world is going to cost you a bundle, again, it varies by type of migrant and where they're from, but let's be honest, we're no longer bringing in the world's best here. It's not thousands of people coming from Japan every day. It's almost unlimited what you would pay these people to stop the flood and to return to sender, to get remigration going. Here's a story in Gateway Pundit the other day. Don't be astonished when Sweden is offering more than 50 grand per migrant to leave. Let me quote from Gateway Pundit. Sweden's center-right coalition government, supported by the National Conservative Sweden Democrats, is set to roll out a sweeping new plan that will dramatically increase financial incentives for migrants who voluntarily leave the country, marking one of the most generous, quote, return grant programs in Europe. Unveiled on Wednesday, the proposed policy would offer up to 600,000 Swedish kroners, that's 61,000 US, to migrant families who choose to repatriate or resettle outside the European Union and select neighboring countries. Individual adults could receive up to 350,000 Swedish kronor, while couples may qualify for 500,000 Swedish kroners. Families would also be eligible for an additional 25,000 per child under 18, capped at 600,000 Swedish kroners. It's an enormous amount of money. It sounds incredible. Sounds like winning the lottery for these folks. And it is. I mean, imagine being paid north of 50 grand Canadian to leave a country that's not even your country. You just went there and you won this jackpot if you leave. But believe it or not, and I'm sure it is easy for you to believe, it is worth it compared to the hundreds of thousands of dollars these same migrants will cost Sweden in the long term. Of course, this only works if you're stopping people coming in the first place. Paying people to leave doesn't work if they can come right back in easily and freely. But if you've closed the door in, you can get them out any way you can. And we're just talking about dollars so far. What's the cost to society in terms of cultural breakdown and even violence and even, I hate to say it, rape? People from low trust societies where women are not treated fairly, easy pickings.